Yo. So we're talking today about habits. Basically, your morning routine is a really, really good overall idea of how habits actually work. So your alarm goes off, you get up, you go to the bathroom, you go for a pee, you brush your teeth, have your breakfast, make your coffee, and go out to work. And you do this as a sequence of events, and you don't even realize that time is passing. And the reason behind that is because it's a very deep integrated set of habits. But that works in a very, very simple way. Okay, and it works a little bit like this. Okay, so when your alarm goes off, this is your trigger. That kicks off a series of events for a desired outcome. The desired outcome is leaving for work, okay, or brushing your teeth or whatever, okay? So the alarm goes off. This is your trigger, okay? After that has happened, you simply get up, go to walk to the bathroom, and the action is actually cleaning your teeth. At the end of cleaning your teeth, the reward is nice, clean, happy, smiley teeth. Smiley teeth? You get the idea. Smiley teeth, okay? Happy, clean teeth. Anyway, the reward bit is actually really important. And the reason being is this. We really, really like a good reward system. We like to feel good. And so much so that when toothpaste companies were creating the toothpaste, what they found was companies that had an inferior toothpaste but tasted better and gave you that tingly feeling, that they found that actually they were outselling people with superior cleaning capabilities, but they weren't selling as much. And the reason being is you, the consumer, had that feedback, that reward, that this reward here was so strong that it made us feel like we had cleaner teeth, even though that we didn't, but we felt like we did. So that reward, that internal feedback was really, really, really important to us. And once they understood that, then it was basically then a competition of who could make their toothpaste taste the best. What we do is we constantly seek this out now. So we constantly have this reward system. Now the issue is that companies, businesses, they are very, very good at doing this. And so they have a very deep understanding of how this works, okay? This behavioral psychology of like how we actually operate. Now what they've done is they can hack their way into our system and create an opportunity to create perceived really, really great rewards. So for example, like Coca-Cola, you never see an advert of Coca-Cola where someone's looking miserable. Everyone's always so happy, and you know what is, I think the strap line is like enjoy Coca-Cola, or like, you know, like feeling happy or something. The reason for that is you will link that association with happiness to that drink. So when we need to feel happy, what we're going to do, we're going to do that, we're going to do that, we're going to take that Coca-Cola and we're going to have it in the hope that we're going to feel happy, because they've told you that this sequence of events is going to happen over and over again. And companies know this, and they invest millions and millions and millions of pounds into hacking this system. And I'm going to show you now how it actually works and how they actually do it. But before we start that, there's actually a couple of little bits that are really missing in this little system. So we have our trigger, action, and reward. But with that, we need to we need to understand internal motivation and memory. And the reason being is our internal motivation. We are always motivated to move ourselves away from pain. Okay, it's important you remember that. We are always internally motivated to remove ourselves away from pain, okay? And the memory is really, really important, because if we don't remember, if we don't remember this cycle, then basically we're constantly sort of like discovering, and we don't work like that as humans. We remember our actions, and they're stored. So our behaviors are always learned behaviors, and we learn them by remembering them. So with this action, it follows this, and that's how that works. So these two concepts, these two additional concepts are really, really, really important. Okay, let's have a look at. Let's go through the habit cycle again with the added bits of internal motivation and memory. Okay, so it's going to work like this. This is how companies create opportunities for us to create bad habits. Okay? I'm going to change pen. All right? So, let's say, for example, you are doing a piece of work, okay? If you're at uni, you're obviously doing uni work. You could be getting back to some emails. You could be having to write a document. Anything, doesn't matter. And let's say, for example, you are busy working and you get to a challenging section, okay? Now, what do? When we have to think quite hard about something and it's outside of our natural behavior cycle and we have to really think quite deeply about something, then that causes us cognitive pain, okay? Now, we are internally motivated to basically sort of like not think. And the reason being is because thinking of stuff is a huge amount of energy for us. I remember in the last video, I think I mentioned that thinking is 20% of our daily calorific intake, which is a huge amount. If you think about the brain, it's actually quite a small piece of kit, you know, sits on top of your head, but the amount of energy that uses just to get through the day. So when we have to ask it to go above and beyond what it's needed to do, that's a huge amount of calorie expenditure. So we don't want to do that. So what we need to do, So what happens is it's cognitive discomfort for us. Then what we do is we seek an action to relieve us from this pain. Whoop. Action. Now that action could be scrolling on Instagram, on Facebook, watching YouTube, sugary drinks, snacks, whatever that is, it's going to relieve us from our pain. But remember, this is a temporary solution, okay? And this is why it's a bad habit. The reward is pain relief. Do it like that, actually. Pain relief, okay? So there's your little thingy coming down. There's your pain relief, okay? Once we're relieved from that pain, we're going to get... Once we're relieved from that pain, we're going to feel good. And that's going to be shuffled into our memory, a happy memory, okay? So then when this happens, so next time we are faced with a similar challenge, our body will recognize and go, right, last time you felt like this pain, you took this action. When you took this action, you felt like this, pain relief. And then you're going to remember that and you'll do it again. And this is basically the outset of a bad habit. Now, companies know and understand how this works. So what they do is they basically make these actions here very fucking appealing, and very, very simple to get because you understand how this works, okay? And sometimes what happens is we go through this action several times a day. We'll go through pain. We'll want to relieve that pain, and we'll take the action to make us have pain relief. Oh my god, there you go, pain relief. And remember that, and we'll take it, and we'll go into that cycle. And that action can happen time and time and time again. Okay? I'm not sure if this is right, but you get the idea. Okay? And you'll keep on repeating that until such a point where the level of pain and discomfort significantly outweighs the reward. Sorry, the reward is so significantly outweighs the pain. So, for example, you might be putting off paying a bill. You might be putting off doing a piece of work. You might be putting off doing an assignment. And then the pain is going, well, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to fail my course. The fine is going to go up. And that is going to be so painful for us. It leaves us no choice, no option, but to finally take action. Okay? But the problem with that is, bring this back in. The problem with that is, this is winning. Okay, and you have to remember that these are all companies that are hacking this system, your system, this habit cycle. They're hacking this cycle in order to sell you shit. Okay, so Facebook and Instagram, their motivation is to keep you on the platform. The sugar companies, they are motivated to sell you things. Treat yourself. You've worked hard. You deserve it. Treat yourself. YouTube is again there to design to keep you on the platform, and this narrative of treating yourself and pain relief is the key things that are keeping you coming back, and basically stopping you from moving forward. Okay, and the reality is we'll keep on doing it until we leaves us no choice. Okay. Now that we know this though, and now that we can understand how this works, then basically we can do something about this now. So once we are faced with a challenge and it causes us cognitive discomfort, we want to move from pain to power. Okay, in other words, we want to teach ourselves to take action, and it isn't this, it's to do work. Okay, positive work. So that's actually get back to the email quickly, go and work out, go for a run, do the assignment, whatever it is. Okay, and then you can reward yourself, and this isn't treats, this is a cognitive pat on the back. This is a well done, you have achieved your thing. Whatever it is that you said you have done, you are a disciplined human being, or whatever it is. If you want to watch about discipline, description below. And that's what that is. And then we have to cognitively shuffle that into our memory and go, this was a positive experience. Remember how good that felt when we handed on our piece of work and it was great, or we got back to that email and we had more time. And this is a very positive thing. And then when we faced with a similar challenge, then that's the new positive cycle that we need to be telling ourselves. Now, most often when we go ahead and we think about we need to stop we need to stop negative cycles. What we normally do is we don't even entertain this. We don't even entertain the habit cycle at all. Now, the problem with this is purely off willpower, but because this is the habit cycle and it's so internally motivated and such a part of us, it becomes very difficult, nigh on impossible, to actually sort of like prevent this forever. So basically, you're using your willpower, your discipline, and your motivation in completely the wrong place. What we want to be doing is actually focus our attention here. Okay. Internal motivation, the pain to power. What we want to do is create a bit of cognitive space between the trigger, okay, and then the brain, and we want to create. This is the brain here, okay. We want to intervene at this point. This is where we use our willpower. We want to intervene and ask ourselves good, useful questions. A good, useful question is, you need to ask yourself, is the current setup the right course of action to take? Okay? Because once we start intervening and asking ourselves the right questions, then we can change the outlook of the behavior, of the habit, create more positive habits. But before we even get to that point, you need to be aware that this is actually even going on. And how you do that is you learn to pay attention. You learn to pay attention to your behaviors and your habits. If you are constantly doing certain actions that aren't beneficial to you, you need to understand what it is that's standing in the way. What pain are we trying to run from? What pain are we trying to escape? Once we understand that, then we can actually start doing something about it and start creating new, fresh, positive behaviors and start escaping the negative behaviors that lead into sort of like long-term behavior problems, and start creating fresh new behaviors that actually serve us. Anyway, that's how bad behaviors are formed, and that's actually how to create new behaviors and where to actually intervene. First of all, we need to be aware of our behaviors. Once we are aware of our behaviors, we need to create cognitive space between the trigger and the action, and ask ourselves appropriate questions. We're going to go through asking yourself appropriate questions and how to excavate your thoughts and your feelings in another video. But for today, we're done. Thanks for watching. I really hope that was helpful, and hopefully that was useful. So go back, think about your day, look at the type of behaviors that you are doing. Are they serving you? And start creating that cognitive space, and start asking yourself some positive questions. Asking yourself, why are you doing the things that you are doing? Is what you're doing the best set of behaviors for the desired outcome? If you are procrastinating, if you are reaching for simple solutions, then it might not be the best set of behaviors for you. So good luck with that. If you have any questions, if you have any problems, comment below, and I'll see you next week.